Hi, my name's Mike, and I live in Taiwan right now. I've been in Taiwan in and out for basically about 10 years. And yeah, that's basically why you should care about my opinion, I guess. I'm from Canada. And it seems that the kind of the question of the day and the polarizing question is, do you like Taiwan or not? It's funny, right? Like, it seems like a really easy question, and most people, I guess, would say yes. But then I guess there's kind of levels of yes. Like, I really love Taiwan, or I'm just kind of in between about it. And for most people, I would say if you say no, then the native Taiwan people would probably just say, "Well, just get out," right? So it's just kind of simple. I don't know. There's probably a lot of countries that are probably the same way, where they just say like, "Okay, well, just get out if you don't like it," or blah blah blah, right? But there's nobody who really wants to hear the reasons or the factors or whatever why that led these people to whatever they believe, right? So I'm just going to kind of get down to it. So the first one I want to talk about is Taiwan truly friendly or just polite on the surface? I've been kind of at length talking with some people about this on Facebook, and it just seems like there's so many people, like whenever I post something which is polarizing, I guess by nature, somebody will just chime in and say, well, I've been in Taiwan for X amount of years and I'm an expat and blah blah. Everybody likes me. And the question in the back of my mind is, do you speak Chinese or not? And 9 times out of 10, it's a no, right? So, yeah, you love the country, yeah, you love being here, blah blah blah, and then you don't even speak the language. So, automatically, in my point of view, that deems your vote not inaccurate, but like it doesn't count. It doesn't count. Maybe you have some friends here for like 5 years or whatever it is, and but in front of your face, they're, oh yeah, I love Greg, I love Steven, blah blah blah, and then behind your back, they're like, I wish this weird foreigner would just go back to his country, and maybe they're just being overly polite, or maybe they're just in it for free English lessons. Sorry guys, reality is a punch in the face. That's just the way that it is. Another questions. Is Taipei overrated compared to other cities in Taiwan? Wow. Yeah, that's a big question too. And I think probably most foreigners can't really answer this question accurately, because usually what they do is they'll say, okay, there's a job, right? And they'll go like make a beeline to that city. They'll like go in and out, like whatever. I mean, say there's a job in the middle of Taiwan and somebody will just go for that. And then they have a good time over there, so they work 5 years over in the middle of Taiwan. But they need something, like maybe they need some protein powder, or maybe they need to go buy something that's very niche. So they go over to Taipei, and then they just complain about how people in Taipei are not friendly. Well, yeah, everybody knows that. In the north, they're not friendly. In the south of Taiwan, I mean, you guys have probably heard that already. They've heard it before. So. Is it overrated? I would say probably in some ways, yes. But, if you want to get any type of ethnic food, if you want to just meet somebody who's not from Taiwan, like you got to go to Taipei, man. Like that's just basically it. Because you got obviously the airport is not in Taipei, but it's closer enough and it's in proximity where there's going to be some foreigners that are just going to be coming in and out of Taipei, blah, 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 whatever, right? So you guys know the deal. Obsession with convenience stores. That's interesting. I never really took into consideration about anything about convenience stores until I came to Taiwan. They'll say like, yeah, our convenience stores are the best, which actually, ironically, I think they don't actually have the most convenience stores per capita. I think that's probably, it belongs to like South Korea or something like that. So, but obviously, convenience stores in Taiwan are super top notch. They're cold. The air conditioning's on when it's summer outside. You can pay your bills, buy train tickets. You can, go get a sandwich, whatever you want, man. Pay your bills. Did I say that? And yeah, it's like it really, really emphasizes the convenient about convenience, right? So, I mean, I don't know. That's not really a polarizing thing, but is there like a big obsession for Taiwanese people about the convenience stores? I would say probably, yeah. Does it matter, or is it harmful? Probably not. Probably not. Anyway, guys, probably just getting back to the really polarizing parts, like the friendliness of Taiwan. What does it have to do with convenience stores? maybe that's actually an interesting question. I For me, it's weird how the convenience stores are very convenient. That's true, but I'd probably say 50% of the time, the people that are behind the counter are not exactly, customer service friendly. And I don't know if it's not because they don't have the training, or they just don't care, or this is just a stepping stone for them to go wherever it is, right? I have numerous amount of times, probably in the tens or twenties of people that are just horrible at convenience stores in Taiwan. And this is not, you know, people will just say, well, I'm complaining. But, if you really pay attention to it, and if you really know the culture and the language, you're going to see what I mean. I used to live in the north part of Taiwan, and I just had this one convenience store worker, and she was just really noisy all the time. I remember one time she almost yelled in my ear, and she didn't understand that she was so close to me. It's like, holy crap, dude, can you just, curb your enthusiasm and know your personal space? And then recently moving more towards not the middle, but probably the upper middle of Taiwan, I had another kind of, I don't know, encounter if is probably the accurate word for it, but another convenience store worker, and the guy was just I don't know why, but he just really doesn't understand how to deal with whatever. I remember one time that we needed internet in order to access something that I needed, and he's like, it doesn't work, right? And I was like, okay, great. And I understand that I don't want to say Mandarin language is really based on efficiency. So, he just wanted me just to leave, right, and do whatever. So, and it's hard to describe here. That's not in English, but in Mandarin or whatever it is, about how sometimes they'll just say, well, what are you doing? Or get out of here or whatever. I mean, that's the way that I interpret it, but maybe my Mandarin isn't really that great enough to get through some type of problem like that. So the point is that, the other lady, I know she doesn't want to be there. The convenience store place that I go to in order to pay my bills, he doesn't want to be there either. And they just don't want to be there, right? So, maybe they just didn't have the pages of the customer service manual for convenience stores that they read or whatever it is, but I guess they just don't. They just don't. Another time I fell on the floor outside. I was carrying too much stuff from a supermarket, and I don't want to say that the guy that passed by me, he just walked over me, but he didn't say are you okay, which is probably more of a Canadian thing, to be honest with you. But it's just, people don't want to have problems. People don't want to go bust into somewhere and say, hey, what, are you okay, and let me help you, blah blah blah. Unless you're really old, or if you're a child, then yeah, maybe. But if you're over the age of 20 and under the age of 45, then yeah, nobody's going to help you, especially if you're a guy. And I don't know, I guess just kind of the way the blind, not paying attention, or not wanting to get into trouble, or maybe they just find there's just some type of xenophobia or strangeness about talking to somebody and helping somebody they don't know, that I don't really understand or comprehend quite yet. So guys, yeah, just kind of to wrap up about what I'm talking about with Taiwan. I mean, this is my first try at trying to logically order my ideas about why Taiwan is the way that it is. But I think probably at the end of the day, it's really a place for introverts. If you want to come here and be an introvert, go set up your eco tent and go to the beach or whatever it is. Yeah, you could do that. Or I saw another guy make a post about how he loves just sitting in a coffee shop here. Nobody's going to bother you. Even if you stay there for 2 or 3 hours, nobody's going to bother you. When I was in South Korea, I stayed there for probably more than an hour and a half, and suddenly I had the owner come out raging, say your time is up. And maybe he thought that I was abusing his time or whatever. And okay, hey dude, I'll probably order another sandwich, but if you want to bicker and cry about it, then I'm never going to go to your place again. So, pros and cons. So if you want to come here and stay for 5 days and expect that everybody's going to be swooning at your feet because you're a foreigner, then you got another thing coming, because people in Taiwan got other things that they want to do, other things that they need to do. But if you're just kind of a dude or a lady who just wants to go around the island and, go around with the friends that you already have and not worry about making friends here, then, and, use AI to be your guide, or just like go on some travel blog and say like, okay, yeah, this is where I want to go and what I want to do, then probably Taiwan is the place for you. So, yeah, this is Mike here, and I hope that you enjoyed what I said. If you have any comments, or if you have any some other opinions, opposite opinions of what I have, then let me know. I'll see you guys later. Bye.